Again, this is not set equal to 0, so I'm going to need to add 2 to both sides so that I get that 9x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0. A is 9, B is 1, C is 2. So that x equals minus b, which is minus 1, plus or minus the square root of b, which is 1 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 9, times c, which is 2, all over 2 times a, which is 9. Or x is minus 1 plus or minus the square root all over 18. And let's see what's under that radical. So, parenthesis 1 parenthesis squared minus 4 times 9 times 2, negative 71. Now 71 hopefully is prime. So what would the final answer be? I have to simplify. What's this going to be? What? Square root of 71. Now you can put the I behind or you can put the I in front. Your book tends to put the I in front so that you don't get confused and think the I is under the radical. Now, if I had something like a 34 underneath here, I could take a 4 out, so I could actually simplify that radical. You'll have some of that in your pre-homework. The last thing we want to look at is something called the discriminant. Now, what it does is it determines the type of solutions that we have, and it's what's under the radical. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Now let's kind of see how that's going to work. We first look at, suppose what we have is that b squared minus 4ac is 0. So this is going to be the first situation. What would I have? Well, if I were to look at the quadratic formula, this would say that x would be minus b plus or minus the square root of 0 all over 2 times a. And what's the square root of 0? 0. So this really becomes minus b over 2a. And notice it only has one answer. So this would say that what I have is one solution. They only have one answer. So if b squared minus 4ac is 0, that's the easy one. Radical goes away, and you have one solution. 2, if b squared minus 4ac is a positive number, what we're going to have is x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of some positive number all over 2 times a. Now, what's that going to mean to us? Well, that means I've got two solutions. I have one where x is going to be minus b plus the square root of that number divided by 2a. And x is going to be minus b minus that square root of that number over 2a. So that means what I have is two real solutions. I'll have a plus and a minus because there's something under that radical. When there's 0 under the radical, you're only going to have 1. Then the next thing you would say is, thirdly, what if I have b squared minus 4ac as a negative number? Well, that means that x is minus b plus or minus the square root of a negative number divided by 2a. What does that cause? An I to happen, right? So then this would say that x would be minus b plus or minus I square roots of some number over 2a. And you're going to have 2 imaginary. It's all about that radical. It's all about that radical in the end. And if I were to write a program that does the quadratic formula, the first thing I'd have to do is to check what's under that radical. Because if it's an imaginary number, it's handled differently than real numbers. And I have to tell the computer that's doing the calculations that I'm dealing with imaginary numbers. Otherwise, it'll say what happens with your calculator and you try to take the square root of a negative number, it says it's not a real number.